I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
All actors are kinda crazy, it's part of the lights, camera, action. Especially that actor named Samuel L. Jackson. Jackson's in Star Wars and the MCU. He worked with Tarantino and Spike Lee too. Sam has taken the art of acting to new heights. In the 60s, he was an activist for civil rights. He was expelled from college, not sure if you know this, after locking board members in a room for 2 days. It was a protest. He bought guns for the Black Power movement and was ready for armed struggle. The FBI went to his house and told his family he was headed for trouble. So his mom put him on a plane and flew him to LA. Acting became his politics and still is today. If you're a Sam fan, you should know all of this. Before acting, he tried to be a marine biologist. He made a name for himself in the theater scene. To be an actor was his mission. He did it all while struggling with an alcohol and drug addiction. He was out of his mind all the time, but somehow had a good reputation. Jackson had many demons, but he sure did face them. If you ever watch movies, this face you will learn. And no, he's not Lawrence Fishburne. Sam is known for his yelling and his smooth talks. He played a white guy on the Boondocks. Samuel L. Jackson is great, the talent, he has it. He's the biggest box office star in the world, but he used to be a crack addict. He passed out on the floor at a party. It was a low point in his life. The next day he went to rehab. He did it for his daughter and wife. Next, he did the right thing by being in Do the Right Thing from director Spike. Do the Right Thing is a movie I like. Yes, Sam Jackson is kinda crazy. He had a small role in Goodfellas from Martin Scorsese. Jackson has overcome many struggles, he's made me a believer. He completed drug rehab 2 weeks before playing a drug addict in Jungle Fever. His ravaged look was real, it was from his detox, there was no makeup. His performance was so good Cannes gave him an award that they just made up. Next, he was in a spoof by those National Lampoon funny people. It was called Loaded Weapon 1, but there was never a sequel. In the film, he plays a parody of Danny Glover. Sam is a vegetarian, not a meat lover. Yes, Samuel L. Jackson eats his vegetables. He was a jury member at the Cannes and Sundance film festivals. In Jurassic Park, he told us to hang on to our butt, and if you meet Jules, don't ever say what.
What?
For Pulp Fiction, he had to audition twice. He plays a bad dude, but he plays him nice. He was Bruce's sidekick in Die Hard with a Vengeance next. To get into his character's mind, he would study the text of Malcolm X. He did this sequel because he saw the original 30 times. He's a real fan. Sam says Zeus's personality is the closest to how he actually is as a real man. There is a scene where he is told to freeze. This was recreated in The Incredibles, that scene with the police. He's a big fan of that television show Judge Judy. And in 2012, he said The Long Kiss Goodnight was his favorite movie. Unlike other actors, he actually enjoys seeing himself on screen. Jackson has been eaten by a shark and a dinosaur. He is living and dying the dream. He was in another Tarantino film based on an Elmore Leonard book. Samuel L. Jackson designed his character's look. Sam would film Jackie Brown on the weekends because on weekdays he shot Saphir. It is a Michael Crichton story about fear. When Mace Windu strikes with his lightsaber, it can be hurtful. It was his idea to make it purple. Yes, purple is the color Samuel L. Jackson will be forever known. He wore purple in Long Kiss Goodnight, Unbreakable Changing Lanes, and he had a purple guitar in Black Snake Moan. He was in the comedy The Other Guys and Everybody Laughed. He also played Shaft.
Shaft! Say it! Josh Shaft!
Jackson has achieved much success and fame. In Unbreakable, it was his idea to have a glass cane. I believe Samuel L. Jackson can really use the Force. In his contract, it says at all times he needs to have easy access to a golf course. And here is something about Mace Windu that I almost forgot to mention. The words "bad motherfucker" are engraved on his lightsaber like his wallet in Pulp Fiction. He was in Triple X, it's not a porno, it's a movie with Vin Diesel, and he was even in the Ice Cube sequel. Samuel loves acting and he does it just for fun. He bought all the cast members of SWAT a gun. Nobody ever thought Samuel L. Jackson could go this far, from drug addict to a superhero from Pixar. Jackson was Brad Bird's first choice, because he wanted Frozone to have the coolest voice. For Coach Carter, he was handpicked by the real guy. who said Samuel's performance was 98.5% accurate, and that's no lie. He strikes down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger, all over the snakes in every plane hangar.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane!
He agreed to do snakes on a plane after just hearing the title, and growing up, Errol Flynn was his idol. To get into character for Black Snake Moan, he learned to play guitar all on his own. He was a samurai with an afro in that anime animation, and in the film Basic, he did a lot of improvisation. He was in The Spirit, Jumper, in 1408, Lakeview, Terrence, Turbo, and Soulman. Isn't that great? He's Nick Fury and the opposite of Nick Fury, named Mr. Glass. He was killed in Kill Bill, and Django kicked his ass. If you like Nick Fury and you want to see more, stick around for the post-credits in Iron Man and Thor. Jackson was promised more screen time in Iron Man 2 if he had patience. Sam almost left Marvel due to contract negotiations, but he secured a landmark 9-picture deal. Samuel L. Jackson is a superhero for real. His characters always have interesting hair. He filmed his Captain America scene in the middle of Times Square. Nick Fury holds the Avengers together, well, sometimes. And I'm so sorry that you have to hear these dumb rhymes. On Django Unchained, Leo was having a hard time saying racial slurs and made a fuss, and Samuel L. Jackson took him aside and said, "Motherfucker, this is just another Tuesday for us." His films have grossed over $7.4 billion, oh boy, and he was in the remake of RoboCop and Oldboy. Winter Soldier came and he got to really kick butt in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That final scene even references the Pulp Fiction Bible verse. Jackson does an average of 4 movies a year, that sure is something. He does Pilates 3 times a week along with acupuncture and cupping. Kingsman is great, this movie should not be missed. Jackson plays a supervillain with a lisp.
I have trouble understanding you people sometimes.
There's a meme that depicts him as the Oz Wizard. On the set of Hateful Eight, he made an offering to the snow gods and then they got a blizzard. He was in a controversial scene involving his schlong. Jackson was in Tarzan, Hitman's Bodyguard, and Kong. Samuel L. Jackson is unlike any other, and he's the greatest at saying motherfucker.
Motherfuckers, 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 hey motherfucker, 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 motherfucking, motherfucker, motherfucking, motherfucking, motherfuckers, motherfucker, 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 motherfuckers. Fucking motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucking, motherfucking, motherfuckers, motherfucking, motherfuckers, motherfucker. I'm still alive, motherfucker, 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 motherfucker. Taste the motherfucking rage. So, brother, motherfucking, motherfucker, 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 motherfucker. Drop it. Go, 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 go.